week in racing. It's time to recap it. And who better to do it than Michael New Magic? Two bros/pros who cover the highs and lows of racing around the globe on every one of their shows. Real fans look forward to these guys and their last thoughts, cause they know they're not talking out of their royal ascot. What they say makes sense. So ladies and gents, sit back and relax as Blinkers Off presents The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
And this is The Magic Mike Show, episode 350.
Huzzah!
Mr. Somich, how you doing, buddy?
I'm excited. I'm excited for this weekend. I'm excited for this week, man. We got the draws out early. We got some stuff to talk about next weekend. I'm pumped up. Let's go. Let's do this.
I am too. Yeah, we. This is why we keep harping on having the Monday draws for Saturday races.
Yeah.
Rebel was, I mean, the Rebel itself wasn't great, but it was great that we got it early. Risen Star, we had the whole week to be excited. We've got 9 stakes races, 8 of them graded. Plus, we've got Santa Anita. I mean, it's just like we've got all week to talk about this. I haven't been this excited for horse racing in a long time.
Yeah, it doesn't suck. And I mean, like, it's going to be an awesome weekend. There's 15 stakes races over the Stronach tracks. We've got, you were mentioning, there's 4 preps for the Derby. There's 4 preps for the Oaks. Like, it's just going to be amazing, man. Yeah, doesn't Magic look good? Look at that. New computer, new camera. It's unbelievable. He glammed up on me.
I wasn't going to say anything, but yeah, I got a new computer yesterday. That'll be well, since you said it, then I'll make that. The best thing that I saw is this is a brand new iMac sitting here. This screen is, I'm holding it out. Like, this is how wide the screen is here. And then my tablet is about this size that I was doing everything on. So now I'm doing video editing like this. Forget the camera looks great. This is just the one that's built into the computer. But thank you guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, this is going to be great. So we got even better content and less technical failures on the Magic Mike Show. Less, no. not none, but fewer.
And there'll be at least 2 today now. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But it looks great. And new Thanks. Computers are always fun, man. And I'm not an Apple person. Is this so this is your first Apple too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes for you. You have to let me know what you think of it, because I'm not an Apple guy. I've always been a Windows guy.
I'll be honest. This could make me a convert. This thing, I've had it for less than 24 hours plugged in. Yeah, I'm already like, listen, I get it. That's kind of the problem why I was anti-Apple, is because I knew once I got into it, shit.
You get pulled in. You sucked it. Yeah, you still have an iPhone. Go get a freaking iPhone, man. So our group chats are not ridiculous. Best thing I saw. This one's actually really easy. We often talk shit about different companies, ADWs, things like that. When one does something right, I want to make sure we give it props. I mentioned there's 15 stakes races across the Stronach tracks this weekend. I would give Stronach some props. ExpressBet and Stronach are doing some awesome things. They've got a tournament on Saturday, $3,500 buy-in. They've got a feeder on Friday that's $400. They're giving away a Pegasus seat, an NHC seat, and a BCBC seat on Saturday, which is absolutely incredible. And then on top of that, they're giving away $5 million if you pick the winner of all 15 stakes races, which is obviously ridiculous, but at least it's $5 million for free. And then I love the fact that they're doing 2 pick 5s, 1 for all the turf stakes races, 1 for all the dirt stakes races, $1 denomination, the minimum bet, with a 5 or 50 or 12% takeout. So low takeout, high base, all stakes pick 5s. I'm like super happy with what they're doing. And then they just put the little cherry on top. We've been talking about this for months. Mandatory Monday. You got to do it. Golden Gate finally listened. Monday, they're doing a mandatory payout of the pick 6. So now Friday's a big racing day. Saturday's a big racing day. Sunday's a big racing day. And we got a mandatory at Golden Gate on Monday. So way to go, Stronach, ExpressBet. Yeah. Well done. Really happy with you.
Yeah, very excited. And if you missed the interaction or the tweet that went out over yesterday on Sunday, Mike and I are going to be covering not 1 but 2 of the big stakes, the sequences they have, that pick 5. So one that's all one that's all turf, and one that's all dirt will be a lot of fun. So I'm excited about that. The Mike and I were talking. We're probably might enter in that tournament as well. So I don't know how big it ends up getting, but is this something, Mike, that we can promote as try and compete against you and I? I mean, you can compete against Mike Somich, 7th in NHC, and his co-host.
The one on Friday, I'm not sure how big it'll get. I think they're giving away 1 seat for every 35 entries, something like that. Saturdays, I think they're expecting like 120 people. There's a cash guarantee on it, and then there's also seats for, like I said, BCBC, NHC, and Pegasus. So really awesome. It's just the 2. They're Fridays is a win place tournament, and then Saturday is it just the Gulfstream and Santa Anita races. So really cool, really good job by both Santa Anita and Gulfstream putting all this stuff on. And like I said, I think you have to have an express bet account for the $5 million bonus, but it's a free shot at $5 million. I mean, that doesn't suck.
Dr. Tang wants to know where the tournament is. Yeah, let's get Dr. Tang in there. I'd already love the chance to finish. I'm already going to be second going to go up against you. Let's put Dr. Tang in there. I'm guaranteed third. That's great. One other thing that's great as well, we talked about with Gulfstream and San Anita, what they're doing, because they're owned by the same track, or the same company rather. The San Felipe got moved up, and at first when I saw the overnights come out, I was like, race 6 for the Derby prep. Like, come on, that's what you do. And then all of a sudden I realized you're doing an hour block where you've got the Fountain of Youth and the San Felipe together, which is just wonderful. And we've also got the Gotham at Aqueduct that'll draw on Wednesday, and I'm sure hopefully Naira will try and put it right around there. So we're going to have 3 Derby preps, just bam, bam, bam. It's so exciting to be a horse racing fan right now, Mike.
It'd be great. I mean, obviously, we'll be live on Saturday as well. It makes our lives a lot easier for having one show versus 2 and the different time changes. So, yeah, no, we really appreciate what they're trying to do and how they're trying to make this. Like, I love the monster days that we have at Saratoga on those big Saturdays, and obviously Derby Day and Preakness Day. You got these stakes, and it's really cool to see 2 tracks, one on each coast, trying to combine it and make it just one super day. So, really interesting to see how it works out. Really excited to get into those pick 5s, man. It's gonna be a fun week.
And Mike and I, after we go through, talk about the some updates on the Kentucky Derby after the Rebel Stakes, and then after the Honeybee Stakes, the Kentucky Oaks. We'll do that a little bit, but then we're going to talk about the Fountain of Youth and the San Fleet because it's Monday and it's beautiful and we love you. So let's get into it, Mike. Riders up. All right, Mike, first let's go talk about the big race Saturday at Oaklawn Park that we were all excited about, the Rebel Stakes, a grade 2 race worth $1 million, 50 Kentucky Derby points, and it seemed like Newgrange, who was the Southwest Stakes winner, returning 4-5 favorite. A lot of us had him singled, a lot of us played him pretty heavily, and a lot of us going, what the hell happened here, Mike?
Yeah, this is a head scratcher because, I mean, if Newgrange shows up with a B- effort, probably wins this race. This was a stumble bunnies down the lane. It was an absolute mess. Un Ojo ends up getting up to win, and I guess flatters the Remsen. I don't know if I'm really willing to say that in early voting in the winner of that race, but it was one of those races that just looks like it completely collapsed. It's interesting because you have Ethereal Road, who was out on the way on the outside, the 10 horse, who makes this move and clearly made the move against Newgrange. Like, the plan was, I need to beat this 2 horse. I want to get the jump on Newgrange. Gets the jump on Newgrange, but just doesn't have enough gas in the tank then to be able to finish off the race. And so it was interesting to see him take the lead and then kind of fall back afterward and move out of it. So just a mess of a race, man. I want nothing out of this. I mean, that's my main takeaway here is that, like, literally draw a line through every one of these horses because I want no interest moving forward. Anyone who comes in for the Arkansas Derby as a new shooter, I think, is more interesting than any of these horses.
Yeah, this was, oh boy. And poor Barber Road. Poor Barber Road, a nose away from second for the 4th straight race. The horse always tries, and there's always an excuse. We did a great job of at least assuming that Barber Road would hit the board. And that Kalleward, you correctly called. You said he's going to hit 4th. So if you keyed him there in your super and just went all Barber Road on the super, Mike gave out a really nice ticket on the live stream.
Right. Zero credit for that one. It's one of those. It's a scenario where, and I'm like, I don't remember who mentioned this on the live show, but it felt like either it's Newgrange or it's anybody, right? And this definitely was not anybody category, because it was hard to make a case for me for horses like Dash Attack, Ben Diesel, Barber Road to win the race, because Newgrange would have to put in like an F- effort, and he tried, and then no one would have to be decent behind, like, of all these new shooters, and that's where it was so hard, because if Newgrange doesn't fire, which he didn't, it's like, okay, well, who am I going to pick, right? Who do I actually think is good enough to be able to beat this horse and get it done? And it just, I mean, I never would have gotten to Un Ojo, so I don't even feel a little bad. I said that on the live stream. Like, sometimes when you lose, you're like, I could have been there. I'm never getting to this horse.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly the case. You're like, Un Ojo, nope, because, I didn't like the race that he was exiting that much. But then, as JL says, early voting now down to 18-1 in offshore futures derby pool. Talk about an overreaction.
Wild, man. I mean, I realize that Un Ojo winning obviously flatters that race, but it's not like we're out there hammering Gilded Age after this, who finished third by a head in that race as well. And like I mentioned this on the stream too, like this is an interesting Derby, the pace-wise setting up, because you have early voting who wants to be out there. You've got Epicenter who wants to be out there. There's quite a bit of speed that's going to be in this race. That I can't remember the California horse. We're going to talk about him in a second here. And San Felipe, who won wire to wire last time out, beating 3 Baffords. He wants to be out on the lead. You have 4 or 5 horses that want to be on the lead. And then you have White Barrio who wants to stalk. You have a couple of these horses who seem to want to stalk. I think Emmanuel is actually going to fall into that group as well. We'll talk about it a little bit later. So it's interesting to see how this is going to actually play out.
And here we have a look at the, as I try to figure out on a Mac. If anybody knows, hey, I figured it out, how to zoom in on a Mac.
Forbidden Kingdom, there we go. Thank you, Bree.
Yeah, Forbidden Kingdom is in the San Felipe. We'll talk about in a minute. Here we go, your Kentucky Derby leaderboard. Mike, our boy Epicenter at the top there, winner of the Risen Star Stakes, a close second in the Lecomte, winner of the Gun Runner Stakes. That's where all those points are coming from. No question. This horse is in a normal Baffert-riddled Derby year that he's in with those points. Un Ojo wins the second 50-pointer, so he's there, the 4 points from getting second in the Withers. And then you got Smile Happy, Ethereal Road, Barber Road. This is going to change a lot because we've got 4 Derby preps this weekend, and 3 of them are worth 50 points to the winner. So this is going to change up a bit, which is nice because, good God, this is kind of gross.
It's not impressive. I mean, slow down Andy down there in 13th, and you think about his effort last time in Louisiana, and it makes you scratch your head. Archie bringing up a good point here. At Secret Oath, I think we got to talk about at least a little bit. If we're going to talk about these Oaklawn horses, Secret Oath was the best 3-year-old at Oaklawn over this weekend. She looked awesome winning that race and was over a second faster than the boys. Now, the weather was obviously different when the boys ran versus when she ran, but she was still by far the best 3-year-old that we saw. And it's interesting. It's almost like D. Wayne's horse in the ladder race with the boys is going to keep him from Secret Oath going to the Arkansas Derby, which would be a shame. He had some quotes today saying that the plan was that Ethereal Road is going to go to the Arkansas Derby and Secret Oath is not. Do we believe him? Do we think that you do end up seeing Secret Oath there? But where's your head at here?
I really do, because he's made it clear from the get-go that this was the owner's call. Like he said it in interviews before the Honeybee, after this race, that it's the owner's call. If he had a decision, she'd go to the Arkansas Derby. So for him to come out and say that today, not even try and have 4 or 5 weeks to try and change their mind, and to come out and say that today, I'm like, okay, they probably very firmly were like, we want that Grade 1 Kentucky Oaks victory for her. To me, that's what I'm reading in the tea leaves.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because if you take a shot, as weird as this sounds, the Triple Crown race you take a shot at's the Derby, because the Preakness probably has the best Baffert in it, right? And the Belmont, I don't know if she wants a 1.5 miles, right? Do we really want to do that? So it's like, to me, the best Triple Crown race is actually the Derby to take a shot with her. So it'll be interesting. I'm not totally sold that she's going to not be in the Arkansas Derby. I agree with Archie down there. There might be some gamesmanship here, trying to keep that field weaker, and then she shows up. We'll see, though. I mean, because at the same time, you almost want to say, yeah, she's going, just to scare anyone off too. So it's interesting that this came out so quickly, because it seemed like in every post-race interview on Saturday that D. Wayne wanted her in the Arkansas Derby. Plus,
I didn't mention it on the live stream, but the social media attention that will come from this, just in general. I mean, I know they're not attention-seeking owners or connections, but it'd be so easy to get swept up in the drama and the Derby fever, and everybody wants to see a filly, and it's like, hey, there's no Baffert. We're all looking for a really good feel-good story. So we'll see. I'm going to trust right now that because D. Wayne came out and said it so quickly, that's what the owners want. Secret Oath gets a 92 buyer for winning the Honeybee Stakes. The Rebel Stakes, an 84 for Un Ojo for finishing in 145.69. Secret Oath, same distance, 144.74 backwards, basically.
Yeah, I mean, this was a pretty gross middle half of this race, too. I mean, they went 48 and then went 114, so 26 seconds, then 139. I mean, so the interior fractions here, not great from a race perspective. So to me, there's just nothing in here I want. I mean, I cannot wait to fade all of these horses coming back. I made jokingly asked on the stream, like, what price do you know Un Ojo next out? I'm like 40 to 1. Like it literally would have to be that big for me to be interested in playing this horse back.
I will give a lot of credit. We didn't do it on the live stream, but I saw some people who were commenting on the YouTube video, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it before, we're doing our live reactions. If you miss it on the live stream, they're up on the YouTube, so you can see how we react to the Rebel in the moment. And some commenters correctly called out Ramon Vasquez, the jockey. He did what he was supposed to do. He saved every inch of ground with the horse that he could, and he got the trip and put the horse in the best position. So he's a jockey that I know Diodoro likes to use a lot. He's Lone Rock's main jockey. So he's a sneaky good jockey, that Ramon Vasquez.
Yeah, I mean, I love that Raylu and like it's interesting. You have Vasquez, Contreras, Gutierrez. So all like to me are household names. I don't know if they're necessarily household names, but they're definitely not jockeys who shipped in for this one. They're all proven jockeys around those circuits, the mid to lower tier circuits.
Let's real quick just talk about the Kentucky Oaks picture here, because it kind of gets forgotten about. You see Secret Oath here with 60 points leading Turner Loose. Shahama won the UAE Oaks. Yeah, and she is now with Todd Pletcher. So she is going to be very aggressively targeting the Kentucky Oaks. So I'm excited about her. If you didn't see Shahama win the UAE Oaks in Maidan, whew, just a beauty. And I really thought I was willing to play her against the boys in the UAE Derby if they hadn't shipped her. So we're going with that. Echo Zulu is the big question mark here. Mike, at 30 points, we still haven't seen her. She's working out. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, it's tough because this is where you get so caught up in recency bias. Secret Oath, like we're talking about facing the boys and looks awesome. Echo Zulu was dominant at the Breeders' Cup, right? Let's not forget about that. Like she was dominant. I would still take Secret Oath at this point, but if she comes back as good as she can be at the top of her game, I wouldn't be shocked if she's able to get the job done. It is going to be interesting to see what happens with Shahama as well. Man, Secret Oath's going to be tough though if she's there, right? Like you just watch that race and she geared down, absolutely cruised by all those horses, even with a little trouble too. Like it's not like she was able to just completely run her race there. She got stuck on the inside or stuck in between and then had to kind of check back a little bit and then was able to get some room on the inside. But yeah, I mean, to me, this is right now it's a 2-horse race in my mind between Echo Zulu and Secret Oath.
Well, and Echo Zulu, you not only have the question mark of will she come back the same at age 3, we still have question marks going into the Breeders' Cup can she handle 2 turns? Some people thought this was going to be the filly that was the horse trying 2 turns for the first time that would lose as a favorite. So we went from having those question marks. She has that dominating victory, but it's questionable what she beat. There wasn't much pace, only a few horses. So a lot of question marks still about Echo Zulu. I'm curious to see what happens. Remember, Todd Pletcher had Malathat off of just one race. She won the Ashland Stakes at Keeneland and then went straight to Kentucky Oaks and won that. To me, 2 different horses. I thought Malathat was a bigger horse overall at that point in time. Echo Zulu, a little lighter frame, but we'll see what happens. There's nobody else really here on this list that really pops. Nest is the other Todd Pletcher horse that is by Curlon of AP Indy Mare, so similar to Malathat's breeding, but this is definitely a division where, and our friend Awake at Midnight, definitely a division where we want to wait until probably the Kentucky Oaks is drawn before we really start nailing down who we want to play, other than Secret Oath looking like a beast.
Yeah, I mean, this is wide open too. I mean, this thing could flip 4 times by the time the race actually goes too, just because of how few points there are right now on the list.
All right, Mike, let's fast forward. We're going to look ahead to Saturday now. We've got the Fountain of Youth Stakes at Gulfstream Park's Mount 16th race that drew a dozen 3-year-old Colton Geldings, plus an also eligible poor Gald. He finished 4th last time out in a stakes race, and your reward is you're on the outside looking in, quite literally. So in this field, we've got a mix of Grade 1 winners. We've got horses that are taking stakes experience for the first time. That includes Emmanuel, who I was surprised was the 9-2 third choice. Is he going to be your top pick this early out?
I don't know. Well, I will tell you, I will not be playing the favorite. I cannot believe Mo Donegal is your chalk on the 12 post. And I went back. Mo Donegal's gotten a lot of love since that race. So I went back and I watched that race. Simplification had a worse trip than Mo Donegal. Simplification beat Mo Donegal. Like a significantly worse trip, and was doing something for the first time after missing that break. I'm not sure how people are like, oh, well, definitely love Mo Donegal and not going to play Simplification. I'm between Simplification and Emmanuel right now, based on the quick look at it. Now, I thought I was going to try and play against Newgrange, which I guess I wish I should have, although I, again, never would have gotten Un Ojo at this time last week. But right now, I mean, to me, it's Simplification and it's Emmanuel that I'm interested in going into it.
I'm trying to pull up the field here, but I'm very curious to see how the betting goes with this one, because Emmanuel at 9-2 is not even the second choice; is the third choice. Simplification makes sense to me at 7-2, and now he's getting Jose Ortiz aboard, which is an interesting new wrinkle because Javier Castellano. I don't know if you can blame him for the break that the poor break, and he kept the horse engaged, and he almost he put in that really strong effort last out. So the move to Jose Ortiz and drawing inside on the 2, it makes him very intriguing. What do you read into that jockey change though?
I was kind of surprised, to be honest with you. Like, I agree with you. I don't think Castellano did anything wrong. The horse just didn't break very well. So, and it's not like Jose Ortiz and Castellano, one's a great breaking jockey and the other one's not. I mean, it's kind of a lateral move in my mind. I know a lot of people that don't love Castellano, but like with this type of horse, I don't think, as long as you don't screw it up, it's not that tough of a ride to have. I think the 2 post is great for simplification. Galt staying out of the race actually helps simplification quite a bit because it's more likely he's going to be able to get an easy lead. That two post is 100% send post. I think he'll go right to the front. I think it kind of is all systems go. The jockey change to me is surprising, but not a negative or a positive.
A couple of other horses that are interesting. Dale Romans has 2 in here, Howling Time and Giant Game. Howling Time is a horse that is probably going to show a lot of speed early as well, so adding more into that pace factor. Giant Game is a horse that kind of spit the bit in the turn, and they said afterwards in his last race that, he had a displaced palate. He needs throat tieback surgery. If that happened, he came back awfully quick, and his workout reports have been a little iffy, to say the best there. So either of the Dale Romans horses, any interest there?
No. No, not even a little.
One that is interesting to me, and we were talking about this right before we came on, and you know where I'm going with this. Rattle and Roll, the 6 horse. We have a grade 1 dirt route winning horse who we haven't seen since then, but has reportedly been working very well. And he's 12-1 in this field. To me, it's almost like you have to play him because of that price. It just doesn't add up why he's 12-1 here.
I mean, yes, he's a grade 1 winner, but that was off a maiden special weight where he didn't beat anything before that. He beat Double Thunder and Classic Causeway in that race. Now, obviously, Classic Causeway has improved quite a bit since then. Double Thunder wasn't very good at that time. I mean, we talked about Double Thunder quite a bit last year. I think we covered 3 of the races he was in. I'm not sure I'm going to give him all this kind of love. And again, 12-1 is a price you want on Kenny McPeak horses, right? In these type of spots. This is a tough field. There's quite a bit in here that he is coming back against. You have a second off the layoff Pletcher horse, who I think is very good. You have Simplification, who just showed how good he was last race. And you're going to take Rattle and Roll off the layoff. It just, to me, 12-1 is probably half what I'd need to start talking about this horse. I would want something between 20 and 25-1 to put Rattle and Roll on tickets.
4 horses In Due Time, owned by Edge Racing, which is a branch of the My Racehorse Group. And last time out in an allowance race over this course, defeated 2 Todd Pletcher horses that were very highly regarded. However, neither of them were named Emmanuel or Mo Donegal, and these seem like different monsters here. Could you see In Due Time pulling another upset over a couple of Pletchers, or are you still leaning towards the Pletcher here?
I do. I do think In Due Time could win. And when we talked about this I talked about this earlier when I was talking about the Derby of all these speed horses who can sit right off the pace. In Due Time proved he can stalk off the pace and pounce on a field. I think he's going to get that exact same trip. Not this time as the Sire, one of them that I love. I think the stretch out is going to be good for In Due Time. And the horse loves the racetrack. And we don't know how good. I think it's American Works or Ironworks and American something.
American Icon.
And American Icon, who are the 2 Pletchers that he beat that day. We don't know how good they are. I kind of wish one or both had come back by now, because it would give us more idea of what to expect from In Due Time. But the fact that this is the race we're pointing to, knowing that it was going to come back strong, I do think this is a pretty strong race here. You're going to have probably 4 Derby horses in this field. Shows a lot of confidence in Due Time. And, I think In Due Time is going to float up a little bit here, because I do expect Mo Donegal to take quite a bit of money. I do expect Simplification to take quite a bit of money. I do expect Emmanuel to take quite a bit of money. In Due Time is the one that's going to kind of get pushed back a little bit.
So, Mike, it's Monday, February 28th. We're 5 days out from the race. Right now, if I told you who are you picking on top in the Fasig-Tipton Fountain of Youth Stakes at Gulfstream Park, who are you going with?
Emmanuel.
Manual. It's hard to go against it. He's just looked so good. Todd Pletcher has used Tampa Bay Downs allowance races as nice little springboards. He's won this race more times than I can count or remember at this point, but several times just even in the last 10 years. So it's going to be very tough to beat. If you're looking to play the entire card at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, head over to racingnews.com. The inside track to the Fountain of Youth Stakes wagering guide is available for pre-sale. You can go check that out. If you are a subscriber to any of our monthly products, including the Somobombs put together by this guy right here, you get this included for free. We're going to have these guides coming out almost every single week leading up to the Kentucky Derby and then the Preakness Stakes. So make sure you get those monthly subscriptions. These are all included for free. It's the best value we got at racingnews.com.
Yeah, right. What he said.
I forgot to tell you, this is also serving as the preview that's going on the channel later. So,
oh, there you go.
That's why, yeah. If you guys are watching live, that's why suddenly this suddenly turned into blinkers off for a second.
I was like, what is this?
Here we got some. I'll go back to your chat here. Riding Emmanuel is Luis Saez. Yeah. And
not a bad
that's a big reason too. Yeah. Archie's with us. JL, this is a good question. Some talk about who's jockeying whom on the contenders. It's a little early for us to get serious about that, but this is something I promise you I'll remember, and Mike probably will too as we get closer. We just got to get through the 50 pointers here and get a clear picture of who's going where.
It's gonna be interesting to see who ends up on a lot of these horses too, because like Saez getting them out on Emmanuel, I think is interesting because you're not always sure who. Like Pletcher has a couple go-to guys, and it's always interesting to me where Irad ends up riding because he's like 4 different trainers first call if they can get him. So it's always interesting where he ends up. Saez, I think on Emmanuel is a pretty good fit because Saez is a Johnny Tryhard type jockey. He always puts the horse in a good spot. He likes to stalk. He likes to be forwardly placed. I think that's where Emmanuel is going to be. So I think that's kind of a good match between those two. But it'll be interesting to see kind of who ends up where because a lot of times that tips your hand on who the best horse is in those barns.
All right, you ready for I keep not Fountain of Youth, San Felipe.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, 7. Okay. All right, Mike, at San Anita Park on Saturday, March 5th, we have the San Felipe Stakes, a grade 2 race worth a $400,000 purse, but also worth 50 Kentucky Derby points to the winner if you're not trained by Bob Baffert. He's got 2 of the 7 entered in here, but I will say it's nice to see, Mike, that this is a Derby prep at San Anita. They got 7 horses and only 2 of them from Bob Baffert, not a combination we often see here. You and I have a personal investment in the 5 Doppelganger, who was 4th in the San Vicente Stakes last time out. 2 Forbidden Kingdom, just his outside the 6 horse. I don't see how, as much as I love Doppelganger, I don't see how you don't play Forbidden Kingdom again in this spot. What do you think?
Well, I'll be interested to see what the prices are. Forbidden Kingdom is a horse that I like. As these races stretch out, I like less and less. And so each step forward is another question mark with him. And Doppelganger should be getting better going longer. So that, like you have one horse that's going to go in backward, one horse going forward. And then you just got to wonder how Baffert's going to react to last weekend when, everything blew up at Arkansas. He obviously wants to have a good weekend this weekend, so we'll see how aggressively he goes after these horses. This is a tough race for me because I believe that Doppelganger is more talented, but man, I mean, absolutely wonderful race last time from Forbidden Kingdom. And so it's all about whether or not Forbidden Kingdom can get the lead as easily as he was able to last time, and then if he's able to hold the distance. And those are going to be the 2 major questions going into the race.
Yeah, Doppelganger, if you didn't know, is named he is a son of Into Mischief, and so they named him Doppelganger because they thought that he looked exactly like his sire. His sire was a multiple grade stakes winner, so let's hope that he can live up to that one as well. What's interesting to me is that Bob Baffert does have 2 in here, and that the other one is Armagnac, a horse that broke his maiden last time out, his second asking over this course and distance. Velasquez was aboard. He went gate to wire. The 3rd place finisher broke his maiden next out, but Armagnac on debut was behind Wharton, who didn't do that well last time out in the Robert B. Lewis Stakes, a very distant 3rd, and then got Thunder, who is in a maiden special weight after this race on the card. So do you have any worries about Armagnac because this is Velasquez and Baffert, and they're striking it a little over 50% right now?
I think this might be almost a rabbit to Doppelganger. And that part of the idea was we don't want Forbidden Kingdom loose on the lead. Because last time Forbidden Kingdom essentially ran in front of 3 Bafferts, right? And none of them pressed, and he was able to go wire to wire. I wouldn't be shocked if this is the response to that in a way, where this is, we've often seen the quote unquote Baffert blocker out in California, where you have that horse that's going to kind of sit outside the pace horse and then push everybody 3 or 4 wide on that first turn. I wouldn't be shocked if this is kind of the Baffert rabbit, and that they're going to send this horse up front to just pester Forbidden Kingdom to make sure that the same thing doesn't happen in this race it did last time.
Doug O'Neill, a trainer who's won more than his fair share at San Felipe Park, and a two-time Kentucky Derby winning trainer as well. He's got Happy Jack and Worst Reed Sanchez in here. Happy Jack, interesting because last time out the Robert B. Lewis Stakes, field of 5, he saw 4 horses in front of him the entire way and was never engaged. He's back here. Maybe the rail draw will help him a little bit, but Worst Reed Sanchez maybe a little more intriguing to some people. Debuted on dirt, didn't win, but became a turf winner. Actually was a nose away from being a 2-time turf winner. He is by Square Eddie out of a Tappet mare. So, yeah, turf makes sense. Dirt distance starts to get a little bit questionable, doesn't it?
Yeah, I want Square Eddie's 1 turn on the turf more than anything. So the stretching Square Eddie's around to anything over a mile, you start to kind of scratch your head. Obviously, the bottom side with Tappet's great, but it doesn't seem like either of these O'Neill horses are really going to be a factor in the end.
All right, so we've talked about pretty much everybody. Cabo Spirit, the 7-horse, is a turf stakes winner who was second, a very distant second last out to Messier in the Robert B. Lewis Stakes, but over this course in distance. And then you also have Beautiful Art, who broke his maiden while in for a high price tag, sprinting. So out of this field of 7 here, you're going on top with Doppelganger. What are you doing?
I'm probably going to end up picking Doppelganger when it all comes down to it. I think it's a 2-horse race here. It's Forbidden Kingdom, it's Doppelganger, and I don't think Doppelganger was fully cranked last time out. The workout reports have come back absolutely stellar for Doppelganger, that he came out of that race and it's all systems go. I think you're going to see a different horse on Saturday. I think the Doppelganger takes a big time step forward. It's between him and Forbidden Kingdom. I feel like this is a race where you got to single one or single the other. I wouldn't go too deep playing them, so I'm probably going to be singling Doppelganger a lot of stuff here.
So Doppelganger on February 12th worked 6 furlongs, heads up with Country Grammar, who went and almost won the Saudi Cup last weekend. And then on the 19th, he outworked Newgrange, which made me excited until I saw how Newgrange ran in the Rebel Stakes. If you didn't see how we reacted to that, go to our YouTube channel and check out the Rebel Stakes reaction. It's a lot of fun. So Doppelganger, I was a little nervous about that, but he did outwork Armagnac for his last work prepping for this. So they're both in here. I'm with you. I think Armagnac, it's a little bit of a rabbit spot. If we want to go for a long shot, I don't know if we're going to get 18-1 on Cabo Spirit again, because he did get a very distant second to Messier, who a lot of people think if he wasn't with Baffert would be the #1 Derby prospect. So long shot, where do you want to go?
Man, I don't know. This is one of those. It's like, who do you want to pick for third, right? It would probably be Cabo Spirit that I think is a live long shot underneath. I do think it's a little interesting that the inside O'Neill horse, Happy Soul, is in here. It doesn't make a ton of sense for him to run that horse back in this spot. So I wouldn't be shocked if that horse outruns its odds, although I'm still not sure it's going to be able to really compete with the top 2. But either the inside or the outside if I'm looking for a price in third in the try.
Make sure you check out racenews.com. We have the inside track to the Fountain of Youth Stakes wagering guide, which is covering all 9 stakes races at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, March 5th. But as an added bonus, because of all of the Kentucky Derby action happening, we're also including full previews for the San Felipe Stakes and the Gotham Stakes, which will be at Aqueduct on Saturday. That's all included. Go to racenews.com. Check out the inside track to the Fountain of Youth Stakes wagering guide, available for sale right now. Okay. Sorry, forgive me for doing that. I hate doing the ad stuff it's so nice doing we get in this routine of doing a regular program, having to break and do all this stuff throws me off. But what's nice, I saw you guys in the chat. Cash LA Surf, Forbidden Kingdom, Gate to Wire. I've heard that both of these horses are working out very strongly, and I'm scared that you and I don't have the one with the early turn of foot, because that's usually the one I want in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, look, I agree that California usually want to be on the lead. We'll see what happens here. We'll see if they use more of Doppelganger early in that race. I still think, and this is a little crazy, I still think Doppelganger is the best Baffert. So we'll see what happens in this race. And this will obviously, if he doesn't run big here, then I've got to forfeit that to Messier. But I still feel like Doppelganger is the best Baffert I have the whole time. And so we'll see if I'm right or wrong this weekend.
Didn't ask it because I didn't know if it really mattered that much, but because I know your opinion personally on Forbidden Kingdom. You did kind of mention the distance being an issue. As distance goes longer, you're a little worried about that. He's never gone 2 turns. The way he finished the San Vicente would tell you he could have done 3 laps and still been fine, but he does have to go 2 turns for the first time. So see what happens there. That Breeding American Pharaoh on top tells you definitely turf. If this horse doesn't stay on the dirt and goes to turf, I think he could be interesting too.
Yeah, I mean, this is just me personally. I think I'm a little lower on on Forbidden Kingdom than a lot of people. I think I'm a little higher on Doppelganger than a lot of people. And so I think that's really, when you factor those 2 things in and then you see what the odds are going to be, I think I'm going to probably be ended up on doppelganger in that race. I do think it's a fun race though. Like at least we're not just talking about a blowout winner in California. It's nice that it's like an actually interesting race to talk about out there.
Right? Yeah, that's really great. Man, it's that you nailed it right there. I think that's partly why I was like excited. I was looking at all the stakes races and everything that's going to be happening over it's Santa Anita, and it's like I've been so down on Santa Anita lately that it's nice that they're like, I know this only happens once a month because that's the only time they can get all the horses together. But we put all the horses together on one day, and then every other race day, it's like 3, 4, 5 horse races. I'm like, oh, put everybody in one. Is there anything else that you want to talk about? I realize we're just kind of almost like we stopped recording. I'm just sitting here shooting the shit with you. We forgot that we're doing the show. This is why I don't like to do these breaks.
No, I don't like. I think we kind of went over it all. Look, Secret Oath is the story of the weekend. She's the horse that we're looking at coming out of this last weekend to see kind of what happens. And then to me, it's just all about this weekend. We've got, I don't know. It seems like it's a monster weekend. We have 2 tracks that have monster days on the Stronach side of it. Like we said, we have 4 different Derby preps, 4 different Oak preps. We've got the mandatory payout on Monday at Gulfstream Park. I'm sorry, at the Golden Gate. I mean, like it's just going to be a great weekend of racing. I can't wait to jump into it. We're going to do a live show on Thursday. And we're going to cover the Turf Pick 5 on Thursday. We're also going to record on Thursday the Dirt Pick 5 show. That'll be out on Friday. So we'll have a Pick 5 on Thursday, a Pick 5 on Friday. Get your handicap and hats on and start getting to it there. The PPs are already out for that stuff, or at least the draws. I'm not sure if the post positions are already out, or the actual DRF PPs are out yet. But like $1, 12% takeout. I mean, you're going to see some probably $200,000 to $300,000 pools at a minimum in these things. If you get 1 or 2 prices, it's going to pay because with the dollar denomination and a Pick 5, it's like strong. It's like the Stronach 5. It is hard to get to some of these horses because you just can't go as deep as you want in some spots. So forced to make some decisions. And I think it's going to be 2 great bets this weekend.
Let me pull it up here because they just to help. Look at this: 15 stakes, the free contest, $5 million jackpot if you correctly guess. I mean that you got to throw darts at the wall to try and get that, but. Yeah. That's horse racing, right? Yeah. We're just throwing darts at a wall anyway.
Good luck, right? but hey, it's free, so whatever.
This is what I was trying to pull up here. All right, this really is wonderful, and I thank you to. We gotta give a shout out to Nick Sievers, our boy who's been following us for a long time devoted fan and follower. But he's the one that, at least for me, brought this to my attention that you've got the 2 coast to coast all stakes Pick 5s, and here now that the cards are drawn, now we can see them laid out for us here. So you've got. The Palm Beach, the Honey Fox, the Buena Vista, the Here Comes the Bride, and the Kill Row at Santa Anita to end the turf. And then the Dirt, the San Carlos, which we're not getting flight line, which means this is actually a race maybe worth playing. Gulfstream Park Mile, San Felipe, Fountain of Youth, the 2 Kentucky Derby preps we just talked about, and then the Big Cap. So we're ending with Grade 1 races here. It's nice that the Beholder Mile is not in there. That field does not look good. That's a clear single with a Baffert. So keeping that one out of this, and that just, again, you want to take those races that are clear singles, you want to take them out of these because that's how we're going to cash big.
You could have one heck of a sweat in the all dirt Pick 5 there, because the Fountain of Youth, the 12th race at Gulfstream, is probably going to go out 3 hours before the Big Cap. So you can have like a 3-hour sweat in between those 2 legs.
So as I talked about, that's a great point. So I mentioned that the San Felipe and Fountain of Youth are going to be within the same hour. So you've now got 5 races after the San Felipe for, oh boy. I mean, at least here with the Here Comes the Bride, it's to race 10. It's a little bit.
Well, it's 13. So it's the race after the Fountain of Youth and the race before the Big Cap. So it's an hour difference between those 2. But yeah, I like these are going to be some fun bets, man. And like the fields will all look fairly solid, decently big fields, no obvious singles. Like this is going to be 2 fun sequences that I think are both going to pay.
What do you mean that they're not out yet? I'm on DRF right now. Man, Brian got me all excited. PPs are out. Well, at least on DRF they're not. But listen, this can be a very exciting one. And like Mike said, the Thursday live show, Magic Mike Show 354, is going to be the turf one. Mike and I love turf. We know you guys love turf. It's a lot more fun and interesting to talk about the turf angles, I think. So we're going to do that one live. And then after that is done, pre-recorded version, the all dirt stakes Pick 5, that'll also come out. So make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast, however you find podcasts, so that you get everything that we got going on, because it's going to be a hell of a weekend. It's going to be a hell of a time on the Saturday live stream. I feel like I'm just going to need to get like one of those like camper chairs, like when you go and you see like the fireworks. I'm just going to put one of those here because I'm going to literally just camp my ass in the office all day, and it's going to be glorious.
Is this going to be a profitable or an expensive weekend too? Just looking at that, we're going to have like 13 race cards at both tracks. That means we're probably going to have 3 pick 5s in both places. We've got these bonus pick 5s that are dollar denomination. We've got a mandatory payout on Monday, which means we're playing on Monday too. I just start breaking your piggy banks now. We'll just put it that way because it's going to be an expensive weekend.
Just break the piggy banks because you're going to be investing it, but because you bought the inside track to the Fountain of Youth Stakes wagering guide available for presale at racingnews.com, all of those invested piggy bank monies become a lot more human monies that you can then go and spend. So
then you buy a nicer piggy bank.
And then you buy a Danhausen shirt. Racingnews.com/sports. The Dudes Who Bet Sports is going to be be live at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern today. So make sure you do that. Yeah, Aaron says he's going to be drinking on the live stream. I think we're all going to be drinking a lot on the live stream on Saturday. But yeah, Dudes Who Bet Sports, they'll be live at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you check them out. Papa Dude has been absolutely slaying it with the college basketball and NBA picks. He's had multiple nights in the last week or two that he's gone like perfect with the free picks at racingnews.com/sports. So all I got to do is go there and click on that. Mike, have you been doing any of the basketball ones or just NHL?
I've been doing the NHL. I guess it reminds me, I got to do it right now. When I remember, so I've been doing it for the most part. The basketball ones, I don't follow basketball enough to feel like, especially the college side. Like you have to actually really pay attention to that stuff to be able to handle college stuff.
Speaking of the NHL, not to get political, did you see that Dominik Hasek said that he wants all the Russian players suspended?
It's wild, man. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on with everything. Like it's kind of crazy in the NHL side with all the different takes you're getting right now.
Listen, there's a lot of craziness happening. That's why we appreciate you spending your time with the Magic Mike Show. We're going to end this a little bit early, but listen, that's because we got a lot of work to do because we got 2 shows coming at you on Thursday. So we will see you then. Tune into Dudes Who Bet Sports a little bit later on. And of course, racingnews.com, inside track to the Fountain of Youth Stakes wagering guide, available for pre-sale. Until next time, I am at Curtis Kalleward.
I'm at Somobomb 18. I never say that, but here I am.
I wondered if that was going to work. Sorry. Throw it to you. Thanks so much, guys. I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
We'll see you Thursday.
This has been a presentation of RacingDudes.com, your destination for all things horse racing and sports betting. Whether you want free winners, expert insider picks, up-to-the-minute trackside weather reports, or podcasts and videos for bettors of all skill levels. Never make another wager without visiting the Racing Dudes. First,